Greetings, YouTube. So there is a bill in Louisiana that looks like it may very well get signed into the law at the time of this filming, which is May 24th, uh, about expanding the definition of hate crime to include crimes against police. That the police would then become considered a protected class within hate crime legislation. Now, I've spoken about hate crime legislation in the past on my channel, as well as hate speech. Now, I'm opposed to hate speech legislation because I believe in the freedom of speech. Um, and I think the best counter to bad speech is more good speech, not silencing the bad speech. And yes, that still means I support censoring your own content if you so choose, and making sure that asshats don't use your channel or your blog or your server as a platform for their hate. You have control over those things. You can do with them what you wish. If people want to go to the public square and rant and rave and be bigots, let them do that. But they have no right to your yard, your house, your channel, your blog, or your server. Um, but I support hate crime speeches. Okay, rather hate crime legislation. And why do I support hate crime legislation? Because hate crimes are an act of terrorism. Hate crimes are an effort to go after an individual, beating one person, lynching someone, dragging them behind a truck until they die, chaining them to a fence and exposing them to an element until they die. All these are hate crimes because they're meant to send a message to the group that person may belong to: a gay person, a black person, a Jewish person. It's a crime that's supposed to telegraph terror into a larger population. And these are always about minorities, because minorities are being oppressed by a majority. And so most often hate crimes are brought into the fore, and that hate crime laws are used when a minority is being oppressed by a majority. Okay? So, as I've said before, Blue Lives Matter is bullshit because it's co-opting the term, the language Black Lives Matter, co-opting the language of the oppressed, and is now being used by the oppressors. And that's twisted. Putting cops into a hate crime legislation and making them a protected class is the same bullshit. Cops are not a minority group. All right? You can stop being a cop anytime you want to. You can go do something else. And cops are not under attack in America. It's the safest time period right now in our history to be a cop. Cop violence has been dropping year after year. It's more dangerous to be a roofer in America than a cop. Go look it up. I'm not lying. Cops don't need special protection because they already have them. State after state in America says if you harm a cop, you get additional, more harsh punishments than if you harm a civilian. Cops already have special protections. We already coddle them when it comes to the law. We let them get away with using harassment, sexual assault, and violence, murder against our citizens, and they get away with it time and time again because they're a member of law enforcement. They don't need to have themselves included in hate crime laws because they are not an oppressed minority. They are the oppressors. They are the foot soldiers of our twisted patriarchal society. Our endemic racism, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, they are the foot soldiers harming the citizenry. They are a warped and twisted system that is not an oppressed minority. So just as I said when I said that Blue Lives Matter, that whole meme and the idea behind it is bullshit, well, this law right here is too. Cops already have special protections. We already treat them with kid gloves. They are not being targeted by Americans. It is less dangerous to be a cop than a roofer. This is just another example of trying to co-opt the language and the messages and the laws protecting and helping minority groups and helping them remove the oppressive structures in our society. It's co-opting that and being used by the oppressors themselves. And that's warped and sick. It is a sign of a morally bankrupt system. So yeah, Blue Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter hate crimes are bullshit.